Welcome to today's webinar on Read and Lead. So the webinar is presented by Training Hub 360, and we are very much thankful to our friend Payal. So she's been a friend to me, and very kind to agree to be a part of our seminar and guide us on this. So I welcome you all, and we'll start with a brief on Training Hub 360. So Training Hub 360 is an edtech company offering training and software sales. So we are completely into education, and we provide training on different verticals, both individual trainings and then corporate trainings. And the second section of our work is into selling the US based or foreign softwares in Indian market. And we partner with lots of governments, universities, K-12 schools to provide our solution. And below is the URL if you would like to visit. So this is brief about the free spoken English club that we run. So some of you are joining for the first time, and you would wonder, what this free spoken English club is about and why we are having this webinar today. So basically, communication is central to success in personal and professional life. If you are not able to express yourself to other person, you basically fail in most of the cases, right? So you have 10 people reporting to you, and if you are not able to convey their idea, their thought process to the senior management, then they will chuck you out of the managerial level. So even in personal life, if you are trying to say something, but if you are not finding good words, or if you're not finding it how to phrase good sentences and communicate that to the other person, then you fail, right? So communication is central to personal and professional life success. So we are doing this free spoken English club program free, absolutely free, and the programs are held on every Sunday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. So we have, for every Sunday we have different objectives, so that we do not remain monotonous. So first Sunday of every month, we let you speak on your topic. So from day one, the agenda is that from day one we want you to speak, right? So that's how the program begins. And when we go to the second Sunday of the month, we have thematic presentation. So last time on second Sunday of last month, we had a theme called art and culture. So this time we can have COVID-19, or we can have global education, or we can have a different topic. So each member who come to that particular program has to present on that theme. So if it is art and culture, if I have to present art and culture, I can present art and culture of my mother's culture, or of my state. So I can present of Bihar art and culture, right? If Uday is presenting, he can talk about Maharashtra art and culture. So they are theme based. And third Sunday is again your topic. In first and third, it is your topic, but if you need help, we do give you sample topics, we do give you prompts. So based on prompts, you can provide your presentation. So the presentations can be in audio mode, however we encourage it to be in video mode, so that your presentation is good enough, and then you can later see your own presentation and you can see where you went wrong. So our program is also used by people who are trying to crack the international exams, international language exams. And fourth Sunday of every month, we have planned to conduct a webinar like today. So we bring in guest speaker, like we have published author Payal with us today. So this is how the program is scheduled for the entire 4 weeks of the month. So we are on fourth Sunday. That's why we have the webinar today. So this program basically focuses on spoken communication, and we try to build fluency in you. We try to build the vocabularies in you. We try to improve the content of speech. Many people, you will find they speak very fluently, but the content doesn't make sense. They will not be happy with what they are presenting. So that's why we also help you when we have thematic lessons, when we have you presenting on some topics. So we also make you spend some time researching on the topic, so that the content is built, so the knowledge is built to present better next time. So we have our program called Free Spoken English Program. It's called First Certificate in English Training and Certification. So this program is basically a paid program, First Certificate in English Training and Certification, and this comes with a certificate which has a QR code that your employer can later verify that you have a certificate in this in studying English as a second language. So this program basically is a paid program, but we sell it at a very marginal cost. You will find it at no cost at all. So this also helps us run the Free Spoken English Club completely free. So I'll present the offer to you. So this is what first certificate in English program is. So it is generally for 7,000, but we run 499 pricing, and we had run a trial prices of 99 rupees, which is live for today. So this is only for today. So if you want, you can go ahead and you can purchase this program. And if at all, since our program in this is meant to be free, and and we do not want it to be free for everyone, even if you can afford it. But if you are a student, if you are unable to pay for this program even 99 or 499 rupees, you are most welcome to approach us for a free access to this program. So we encourage you to enroll for this program by paying if you can. If not, please approach us for a free program. So we have an option for that. So here's a small quote for today's program. A reader lives 1,000 lives before he dies, because he or she gets to know the ideas of different people. The man who never reads lives only one life, right? So this is by George R. R. Martin, very inspirational one. So this is the flow of today's program. So host presentation, which you have just gone through and will end in some time. Second will be a presentation by author Payal Kumar on Read and Lead. And it's an interactive session, guys. So remain with us. So she will engage you into different activities so that you will be really involved with her. So it's not only she will be presenting and you will be listening. It's an interactive session. So after the presentation by Payal, we will come to question and answer session. So your question and answer should be relevant to the topic. So whatever the author covers in the presentation, it needs to be related to that, or any question that Payal is comfortable answering, right? So after this, we'll come to the last session of our program, which is breakout session. So where we will form 3 to 4 groups, dividing 4 to 5 members in each group, right? So you will be like in a room, a virtual room, and you will be discussing on different topics. So for this particular program, you can discuss on any topic of your choice, right? You can discuss about your family, anything you're comfortable with. But then you also need to make sure that the topic is good enough to be discussed with other fellow members. The other members should not feel offended with the topic, right? And as a very strict rule, we do not indulge into any kind of discussions for or against religion and politics. So kindly keep that in mind for the fourth session of today's program flow. Here is another quote. Reading is essential for those who seek to rise above the ordinary, by Jim Rohn. So here's a brief about our author Payal Kumar. So Payal is a published author, content creator, writing coach, and a freelance content writer. She comes from Darbhanga, Bihar, but she is currently staying in Bangalore. She has completed her MBA with a specialization in human resources and has worked for 13 years in different industries like hospitality, fashion retail, and manufacturing. So presently, she is working with a US-based medical research company as a content creator. Literature and theaters have a profound presence in her family. Her writing endeavor is now 7 years old. During this time, she has contributed her writing on various social media platforms, magazines, job portals, institutional websites, press release, and literary platforms. So I have known Payal for a year now, and I have gotten to know her from one of the webinars that she had conducted for another company. So that's how I know her, and we have been in touch. And I felt that she will be really an asset for this program, given I had seen her previous presentations. So Payal also conducts creative writing workshops for kids and adults, corporates, and educational institutions as a writing coach, like Symbiosis Institute of Business Management, Hyderabad, Telangana, Little Star School, Ahmedabad, Gujarat, School of Liberal Studies, Pandit Deendayal Petroleum University, Gandhinagar, Gujarat, and various other engagements in her speaking career. So this is a brief about Payal, and as you must be curious, so Payal is an author. So what has Payal written? So there is a very interesting book, very interesting, So I will not, spoil it for you. Here is the details that you can look at. So I'll just give you a quick 1 minute time to read this. So this is rated 4.5 out of 5 stars on Amazon. You can Google or you can just search for this book on Amazon. And I will also let Payal, basically tell you more about the book because she's the author. So it'll be nice to hear from her mouth. The recording of this will be available. So if at all you miss anything, you can always recall. Thank you. This is from my side. Now, I would like to hand it over to Payal, who is our guest speaker for today. So Payal, you can share your screen and you can begin. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Shivam, for giving me the stage. 1 second, I'll just share my screen with all of you. Yeah, I hope my screen is visible to all of you.
Yes, Payal. Yes, yeah. We can.
Okay, you can see the screen. Okay. So we're going to talk about Read and Lead today. I'm an author, as Shivam has given quite a profound introduction about me. Thank you so much, Shivam, for the same again. Yes, I have been pursuing my career as a writer, as a content writer, in fact, since last 7 years. Well, it took me 5 years to complete my debut novel, which you just saw, which Shivam just introduced to all of you. And post that, I took a career shift from HR to writing. Now I'm a full-time writer now, and yes, I'm working for a US-based medical research company, which is do medical research stuff, and I do content writing, and I also do content creation for them, like various because you need content for everything, like even if you publish a video or you put an advertisement, you need content for that. So I provide them with certain whatever content, whatever sort of content material they require. Okay. So I want to make this session interactive because I don't want that it should be from one side itself. It's a learning process. Whatever I learn as a reader, as an avid reader, I'll share it with you all, and I'm sure you all are here because you as well are into reading, or you want to start reading, or whatever, for whatever reason. So basically, you are as well connected equally to reading. So this is the reason why we all are here, and I want to make it interactive because it shouldn't be one-sided. I also look forward to learn from all. Okay. Shivam, I just wanted to check. As of now, you've muted everyone, or how is it like you?
Yes. So by default, everyone is on mute, but they can definitely unmute and take their chances to speak up.
Sure.
So there is an option to raise hand if any one of you can see that. So it's better when you do that because at one time, if many people unmute and speak, it will become messy. But then they can unmute and speak. Yes.
Yes. So whoever wants to put budge in between, or put in their opinions, they can raise their hand, and Shivam will look into it and unmute. Okay. So yeah. To read and lead. So here, first of all, I wanted to clarify that the this line "read and lead" doesn't have a straight meaning that you will become a leader. Leader in the sense you won't become it's like some like Indra Nooyi or something. But yes, leading in your own way, in the sense that leading your own life, leading your daily routine, leading whatever whatever context comes to your mind in terms of leading, right? Okay, so let's move on. Skill of reading. What is skill of reading? We'll look into it. What is the ability to read? If anyone wants to put their input, what are their expectations in terms of what is skill of reading, they can raise their hand and share with us. Anyone is there? Okay, no problem. So the ability to read in the sense, we have been reading since our childhood, since our school days, our course curriculum. But apart from that, what kind of reading habit you are, indulged in, like reading newspaper, reading journals, reading magazines, and many people love to read fictions, non-fictions, books, comics and all. I don't know whether the trend of reading comics is still there, but I remember since, I mean, when I was a kid, and especially when I used to travel, from one city to another city, because at that time flying by air, aeroplane was not that popular. We used to travel in train. So comics or like a short story book or something like that was a big help. You know, okay, was a big help to pass that boring period of the journey. So comics was quite a trend in our days when we were kids. All right, that's what is this is what I meant by the reading ability. Reading ability, as in apart from what you're supposed to read, what all you read, right? Learn something new. Of course, when you read, it's a simple thing. You will learn something new every time. So this is the reason why we read in school. A lot of things we read in school, in different subject. Apart from that, if you have the habit of reading any kind of newspaper or magazine or novels or books, you're definitely going to pick up something new, right? Even if you pull in the paper today, and most of the paper is fill up with newspapers are fill up with all COVID news. But apart from that, if you look into other pages, you will pick up something new. There's reading habit has such a power that it gives you an opportunity to learn a lot of new things. Okay, expansion of vocabulary. Expansion of vocabulary, as in not too fancy vocabulary, like we don't expect you to become Shashi Tharoor by reading, but yes, you will have a lot of um, a big bank of words, which is simple and meaningful, right? During my writing workshop, that's what we start with, words. How can you use simple words in a meaningful way? So before getting into writing, you must have reading habit to pick up simple word which you can use in your communication, whether talking or whether writing in a meaningful way. So it does help in expansion of your vocabulary to build reading habit. Okay, trains your brain. It's like workout for your brain. It's like an exercise. So it trains your brain. It gives your brain becomes really literally sharp if you are into continuous reading habit. Okay, mental wellness. We have been during this lockdown, during this COVID, we have been hearing a lot about this mental health stuff. So reading helps a lot in your mental wellness. It does help. It gives you a new perspective. It gives you a new world, because reading is a passport to countless adventures. You read. I'm not sure how many of you have read that book or seen that series on the TV, Alice in Wonderland. So every time this girl Alice used to read some story, so she used to become quite small, and I mean, she used to enter that imaginary world that she had read in the book, that story she has read in the book. And it used to give her a new perspective towards life. And, it used to create adventure sitting right there. For example, once this girl, Alice, was reading a story sitting sitting under a tree, right? And while reading the book, she got into her imaginary world, and right sitting under the tree, she went to another world. So this is how reading gives you different horizons, and it does pushes your mental health in towards wellness, not unwellness, but towards wellness for sure. Okay, stress reliever, of course. Again, it is connected to mental wellness. It does really releases your stress, so it is advisable. I remember, I mean, my grandparents always tell me, till date, they tell me that before going to bed, at least read one page of any book and go to sleep. You will be stress free. We see a lot of advertisement today that this green tea will help you release stress and give you a good night's sleep. Just try once. Try to read. At times what happens while reading the book, we sleep. our mind gets into that relaxing mode. We think that the book is boring, that is the reason why we slept, but it's not that. It actually, our mind gradually while reading gets into that relaxing mode, specifically when you start reading while lying on the bed, you will observe that. So if you are quite stressed out and you have sleepless night, I highly recommend that pick up the book from your bookshelf which has been lying for a while and read that book, and lying on the bed read that book. I'm sure within 5 to 10 minutes you'll fall asleep. Opportunity to discover, as I said about, I shared about Alice in Wonderland. So it gives you a lot of new horizons to discover sitting here. So how do we know? Fortunately, we have in our this generation we have a lot of internet and televisions and stuff like that. But people, uh, till the time of my grandparents, how they used to know about different places, different countries, different continents, it was all because of reading. They used to read in newspapers and books or whatever fictions. And even if you're reading a fiction, even if you're reading an imaginary story written by some, author, writer, uh, you will come across the geographical, what do you say, plot of that particular book, and you would know. Like, for example, I'll tell you, there is a story of Kalidas. Kalidas is one of the most legendary poets of our country. It is believed, I mean, you all can hear me.
Yes, yes, Payal. Actually, you went on a mute. We can hear
Hi.
you. Yes,
Now it's fine.
yes, yes.
You can see my slide is visible to all of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't have any chat box option here or what?
We have the chat box of
Okay, I
it's
cannot.
on the right hand side top.
Okay. Okay, no
Yeah.
problem. Let's carry on. Okay, so skill of reading includes what is the ability to read. I mean, till what extent you can read. That is apart from your course curriculum or stuff like that. Like if you have regular newspaper reading habit, that is also quite good. Uh, if you have a magazine reading habit or blog reading habit, article reading habit, and if you have book reading habit, that's the best. Okay, you learn something new while reading. It's your vocabulary is expanded. You have your own bank of vocabulary. At times, when while communicating or while writing, we just forget that simple word. It doesn't come. We are not able to connect, and it doesn't come in our mind, and we struggle a lot. Arey, wo kya word tha, that what was that word, I'm missing it. But if you are in a regular reading habit, this this disconnection with those word, with those simple word at the right place at the right time won't happen. Most often won't happen. Okay, it trains your brain. Mental wellness is quite connected with reading habit. Stress reliever, it is a big stress reliever. Try out, I recommend that you must try out once, lying on the bed at night. If you're not feeling like to sleep, open a book and read, and you'll see within 10 to 15 minutes you'll fall asleep. Opportunity to discover, as I said, different geographical, even if you're reading a fiction, an imaginary story, you will find some geographical description in that particular story, even if it's imaginary. Okay, so you discover new places sitting at one place. Okay, why reading is important in contemporary society. Would you like to participate in this? Anyone? Why do you think it is important in our society to read? Anyone?
Yeah. Uh,
Yes. Please
yeah.
tell your
Yeah.
name and then start.
My,
Yeah. Yeah.
who, Amna, you want to speak first, or should I take?
No. Please, please,
Fine.
please.
It
Yeah.
broadens your horizon of thinking actually in the
Okay.
society.
Mm-hmm.
Moreover, reading also, whenever you actually meet people in a social gathering or even at a birthday party or any other occasion, people
Mm.
really don't look as to what you are earning or what you are doing currently, but it is your the way you mingle, and that's when you mingle is what types of topics you speak on. It could be headlines, it could be newspaper, it could be books, or it could be any recent news that you must have read in the newspaper. That makes you a good person, actually, conversation starter, I would say, and people will really look up to you. Yes, he has great thoughts. I must go with him.
Absolutely. Your good name, please?
My name is Uday.
Uday. Thank you so much, Uday. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for sharing with us. Okay, so as we live in an age abundant with information, reading is the only way to become informed. Okay, so yes, we have televisions, we have in Google, we have different news apps on in our phone. But in those apps also, what do? You go there and read, right? So ultimately, you are reading, correct? So this is only the way by through which we are updated and we are informed. And you rightly said that when there is a gathering, when you at a party or anywhere, in a group, so people are really not bothered that how much you earn, where do you live. I mean, what kind of house you have and what is inside that house, how is the interior done and stuff like that. But yes, if you are sharing some kind of valuable information, impactful information, people like to look up to you and discuss with you. So do you remember, it's a very old school picturization, you must have seen in your hometown, or you must have visited at your grandparents place or something like that.
Payal,
So
Payal,
yeah,
sorry to interrupt.
yeah.
A 2 minute thing. Now, what this is done, like uh, I, uh, I and my father read a lot, but then it happens with my relatives sometimes. There's
Hmm.
these two sisters are very well placed in the nationalized bank as a manager. Every year
Okay,
they go for foreign tours and every, no doubt. But then
okay.
when they come to the gathering, they are really hooked on with their smartphone, taking selfies and everything. But then
Hmm.
that primary objective of that gathering is to meet people, to
Exactly,
share knowledge, share news, talk
exactly.
something good, this, that you are meeting for a long time.
Absolutely.
Ultimately, that nature would only leave you alone at some point of time, wherein as at the age of 30 or somewhere, those girls may not realize, but when the age crosses around 50, then yes, I would have done this.
Hmm.
वो होता है, it comes.
Absolutely. See, if what unfortunately that's the scenario these days, and kids are too much hooked up, in their iPads and phones and stuff like that. But ultimately, whom they are looking up to, to become while clicking selfies, like celebrities and all that, these celebs as well they as well learn a lot and work hard, and read, correct? So yeah, so that's an unfortunate thing. But then this is how reading can. This is why reading is important in contemporary society. It gives you an insight. It gives you the right insight. In fact, that what is more important: clicking selfies are more important, or meeting and talking about your experiences, and sharing your experiences with your closed one, with your family, with your relatives. And with this COVID lockdown, we have realized more the importance of getting in touch with people and getting into reading habit as well, because I come across a lot of people now. In fact, in my society also, in my department that I stay, so many people have borrowed my books that okay we want to read, or they inform me that okay we have ordered your book from Amazon, downloaded it in Kindle app, and we're reading your book. Okay, so this lockdown has really created that kind of importance, that how important it is to and get into such kind of hobbies which actually add up and which actually help you in your mental wellness as well. In the previous slide only I have discussed that why reading is so much important. It actually contributes into your healthy mental growth. We hear a lot of this Sushant Singh Rajput case happened, and we hear around a lot of stuff that with regards to mental unwellness. So reading is one therapeutic medicine that one can inculcate in their habit and get into it, and it actually greatly contributes in mental wellness if you are in a proper reading habit. And if you can see the picture in my slide, I mean, how unfortunate this is. The book is completely like they're treating as if it's like an alien. It has come from some other planet. So the situation that you shared with me, Uday, right now actually leads us to this kind of scenario. So it is our responsibility that tomorrow next generation are coming I mean the next generation should not get into this kind of situation. So right now training this platform is doing such a great job to create awareness in terms of reading, right? Reading habit, in fact. And we have a lot of book reading clubs around. So I suggest that you all must join some or other reading club if you find it difficult to get into the reading habit. I'm sure by getting mingling up with like-minded people, it will motivate you to get into this kind of habit. Okay, let's move on. Do you know
Hi,
that?
Payal.
Yeah,
Sorry
who's
to
this?
interrupt. This is Shivam
Yeah,
here.
yeah, please, Shivam.
Payal, first of all, I'm very mesmerized that I get to hear you. And there was one point I wanted to put in
Hmm.
forward that
Yeah.
I feel reading is not the only way to collect information, because I'm a person who listens to podcasts as well, probably radio at times, right? So there's a lot of news and information sometimes that we get from just listening as well, right? So I feel, this is my point of view, right? That
Okay,
yeah,
so
we can.
we are coming to that. This is where I'll answer your question.
Uh,
Do you know that if it wasn't for books, you may not have existed today, right? So everything, whatever technology form you can see, Kindle is as well a platform where you can read books, right? Then you have audio books as well. Like you said that we listen, we hear, right? So books is another form of reading, which is wherein you hear, right? Someone talking about that book, fiction, non-fiction, whatever it is. So, but then the first form of whatever you say, as you said, that listening now today, in this age, reading does not only mean opening a book and reading. Reading is listening as well. As I said, audiobook is a very good example of that. Okay, so reading has taken various forms, right? Like one of the most ancient form, or one of the most regular or popular form, is opening the newspaper and reading, opening the book and reading. The latest version is opening the Kindle app and reading your choice of book, or opening the audio app and listening to the book while you're doing something else. And you're such a book reader, you're so much indulged, you're a book blogger or something like that, and you cannot live without reading. So audio book is one option. So reading has transformed since ages. Reading has come into so much of transformation in terms of reading on your telephones, your iPads, on your laptop, or even listening as well. So I hope that answers your question, Shivam. So this is how you can gather information, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. So okay. So yeah. So do you
No, one more question. Small
yeah,
question.
tell me.
Here.
Yeah, please.
While you are writing your book, like we as Indian who are non-native speakers, how it's and people who are around you speak the colloquial language, but they don't speak English.
Okay.
So what Americans really, they get into a habit of that colloquial English, and they inculcate that habit, incorporate in their writing style, and they move forward. But then it also becomes a challenge for us, we Indians, to write a book in English, because why there's no English people around us. I can understand. So how
Okay.
yeah. So how did you really overcome that challenge? Like some
Okay.
yeah. Like
So, are you planning to write a book or what?
yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's
All right. So see, my first input over here in your this thing is that you must write what you know, right? You
okay.
must not get into writing that you have read the most. Reading gives you a perspective, but what have you lived in? I think you can, if you since you want to write, I presume that your imagination power is quite good, and reading as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Reading as well contributes in that. Okay.
Right.
So, like, I wrote a book which belongs to my native, from the place where I belong to, and I have seen that kind of life. Although my book is a
Oh,
fiction, okay, it's not a non-fiction, it's a fiction, but I've seen that kind of life, and I've converted that into a story. Okay, there is a protagonist, there are other characters, and some character names I have picked up from my distant family relative name itself, and I've created.
okay.
In fact, I won't say created, but I've recreated it. So whatever you have lived in, you need to recreate it. This is how your writing journey, in whatever language you want to, be it your native language, be it in English, be it in Hindi,
Okay.
or whatever, it will make your process very easy. But if you are like if you can, what I think, this is the easiest way all the authors and writers
Okay.
pick up. But then, like,
And
for example, mythological stories, like we are in a generation where a lot of mythological thrillers are
right.
coming out, right? So we all, but then again, it connects with our living that mythological stories. How? Since childhood we have been watching Ramayana and Mahabharata on television, or reading it in our school, or our grandparents, or they have been telling us the stories time and again as a bedtime story and stuff like that. So we have lived that mythology. We pray to Lord Rama, right? We know that there was a war fought in Kurukshetra. We have been to that place. Okay, so this is how
okay.
we have lived. Yeah, we have lived. Although the mythological stories are imaginary, we hate Ravan. We perceive him as an evil, as a negative character. We have lived Ravan as well. Then it is said that we have Ram and Ravan in us, right? A positive part and a negative part.
Right.
So
Right.
philosophy, yeah, we have lived that philosophy, and this is the reason why you see around so many mythological thrillers and stories coming up. So this is how you have to connect with your reading habits. We read Ramayana, we read Mahabharata, right? This is the reason why we can connect with it. So
Excuse
then
me,
we
madam.
connect with the
And
story. Yeah.
to
So
the
I hope that
writing style, I
answers
keep it.
your. I'm sorry.
Payal, with regards to the writing style, I keep it simple, natural. People
Yeah,
easy
yeah,
to
keep it
understand.
simple.
No showing off of words or
Whatever.
anything. No?
Yes, you have
Nothing.
to show off your imagination. How can you? How much
No,
can
but
you
with the
recreate?
phrasing of words, keep it
Exactly,
natural, easy to
exactly,
understand, intermediate. Okay.
exactly. So you have
But
to recreate.
no sophisticated language to
No,
show off my
no.
writings.
See,
Nothing of that
Shashi
sort.
Tharoor as well writes the book. Salman Rushdie as well. He as well
Yeah,
writes the
that's
book.
what I'm
We
a
still
bit confused on, actually.
So, but we still, I love to read Murakami or Ruskin Bond, correct?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the difference. So I won't be able to tell you the thin line difference over here. You have to figure it out yourself. But then this is the thin line difference, right? Shashi Tharoor, not all of us can read and grasp it, but we can connect so much with the thriller of Murakami, or the simple stories of childhood or something like that with Ruskin Bonds, right? So this is how you have to come up. So to start with, if
Thank
you
you.
can try
Thank you so much.
brilliantly, that's too good. So with fascinating vocabularies and all that, that's absolutely fine. But then yes, the easiest way is, let your writing flow with the help of whatever you have read and whatever you have practiced and whatever you have picked up while reading. So yeah, so let's move on.
Probably Uday can you can start with Shiva the trilogy by Amish Tripathi. I think that would get you going definitely. That is one of the good.
Yeah, that trilogy is quite good, but the other one I literally didn't like much. Yeah. Why
Audible.
reading at all? Yeah.
Can we accommodate Amana because she's been raising hand for some time now?
Yeah. Please, please, please.
Amana, you can unmute and speak if you have something. Amana, can you hear us?
She's there?
Okay. She is, but I don't think she is listening. No problem,
Okay, no
Payal.
problem.
We'll next time. No
Okay,
problem.
carry on. Yeah. So why reading is important at all? Improves concentration. Yes, reading does improve concentration. So at times when you feel distracted while reading, I'm not saying when you're not reading, but while reading, if you feel distracted, this is a quite a mental exercise. As I said that reading is like workout for your mind, for your brain. So I'm not sure whether you know or not, when you're in a reading club or kids. My daughter is enrolled in a reading club, book reading club. So there, to develop the habit of reading in kids, they have certain activities and tools wherein they ask the kids to force themselves to read, even if they are getting distracted. Like at home, you're sitting and reading, and someone switch on the TV and you are just disturbed. Okay, you wanted to read in silence, but then you cannot also say your father or mother that please switch off the TV, I'm reading, right? So then you need to force yourself, and this is a very good what do you say, tool or technique to improve your concentration power, right? So reading does help in improving your concentration, which will eventually help in your other things when you really want to concentrate over. Okay, improves discipline and memory, of course. If you get into disciplinary reading habit, it will lead in other disciplinary activities as well. You read, you will while you're reading, you come across a lot of characters. I mean, fiction or non-fiction, whatever you read, you come across a lot of characters and incidents, which again helps making your memory quite sharp. Okay, builds self-esteem. Of course, you have something to talk about in front of four people if you're well read, correct? So that adds up in your self-esteem. Okay, so these are three major things in which reading contributes directly, which are interconnected to your other habits: concentration, discipline, sharp memory, and your self-esteem, boosting of your self-esteem. Okay. Benefits of reading a book. Now we'll come to benefits of reading a book specifically. Okay. So here it is: improves concentration. We saw in the last slide, reduces stress by 68%. There was a survey done wherein it was found that reading habit actually reduces your stress by 68%. Increases verbal intelligence, of course. When you're well read, you can talk about, or you have your own opinion. You build up your own perspective to talk about, even if surprisingly in a gathering of, suppose you're standing and you're not too much interested in politics, but still there are people who are talking about politics. If you're well read, definitely you'll come up with your viewpoint, with your say, right, in that particular gathering. So it does contribute in your verbal intelligence. Improves empathy. Empathy is connected to your emotional intelligence. Of course, it is said, I mean, it's a phrase that a person who is a person who is into reading is a very empathetic person, because we live with the characters that we read, happy character or sad character or whatever, so we become quite empathetic. right? Whatever form you see of movies today are first written as a script, correct? The person, the actor who acts in the movie or stuff like that, they actually first read it, okay? Then again, reading is involved, and then the cinema is created. So a lot of empathetic stories you come across. So that's what. So it adds up in your empathetic nerve and makes you more empathetic towards people, towards your surrounding. Boosts memory, we spoke about, enhances learning capacity. Yes, it does add up in you as much as you read or you know about places, you know about people. As I said, even if you're reading fiction, you actually live while reading that fiction. You actually live in places. Like if you read my book, you will live in Mithila, right? Which is land of Sita. uh, she was found over there by King Janak. So you would know about that place while reading my book. Okay, like if you're reading, for example, Ravana of Nandan Neelkanthan, so you would know about Sri Lanka, right? If you're reading some story which happened in Los Angeles or Las Vegas or New York, you would know about that place, even if it's fiction. So you're learning a lot of new things about new places, okay, and new people. Expands your vocabulary, we discussed. Develops strong analytical skill. It, yes, because while you're reading, you create your own perspective. You analyze things, you analyze situations, you analyze characters, the kind of role they're playing. So that actually helps in your analytical skill. If you remember, during our childhood, when we used to give our English literature exam, we used to have that comprehension passages wherein we had to read the passage and then answer a few questions related to that passage. So that was a kind of analytical practice. So we used to read the passage, and then accordingly, we as per our perspective, we used to give answer of the question. So comprehension passages comes in examinations like CAT, MAT, and all. There are paragraphs, you read that, there's a case study, you read, and then you answer the questions related to that case study according to your analysis, according to your perspective, according to your information that you picked up from the case study or that particular paragraph. So it definitely helps to develop strong analytical skills. Okay, these are the benefits of reading book. Fiction, non-fiction is your choice. All right. Connection between reading and a leader. So let's come leader in the sense, yes, it's good if you want to become leader of some big organization or big committee or something like that. But leader here, as I said at the starting of the session, basically means that leading your day, leading your hours, leading your workplace, leading yourself. Basically, it is said that we are the toughest competitions of ourselves. We are the competitors of ourselves, no one else. So every day you must challenge yourself. So leading that challenge with yourself is what I meant by leader over here. Okay. So we'll see connection between reading and a leader. Reader Readers are leaders. I mean, if anyone wants to contribute over here, what they are getting from this, reading, and if just think what can be the connections between reading and a leader. Anyone want to contribute over here? Uday or someone? No one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Reading, basically what happens is reading helps to increase your comprehension skills. That's no doubt. And when someone pursues his higher studies, it's not all about mugging the book in and out. It's about understanding the language, and that's where your hobby plays an important role. A person's hobby plays an important role. And as a leader, when reading, when he's been reading for a long time, he actually has a good command over English language, exploring new words, phrases, and as a leader, he can arrive to a certain solution a good solution to a problem. He would be able to manage things in a better way, and moreover, he would not really require anybody. He's much more capable of doing things on his own rather than seeking assistance from anybody else. It's ultimately English that he has to understand and learn the nitty-gritties of that the entire process or what the how-to tutorial, and then implement. That's what.
Well done, Uday. Thank you so much.
Well,
Well done. Very
yeah.
absolutely.
Rishabh,
Can
please
I
take it.
also speak regarding this?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking like in when we read a book, there always situations when the characters are put under some constraints and they need to get out of that. So they are always they reach a new situation. They are when we read something, we are exposed to new information about the character or the hero of the story, and they are in a problem, and then they need to find a solution to get out of the problem, like adventure stories or thrillers or any kind of stories. So I think a leader has also the same situation, like he's put into some constraints or some situation and he needs to find the solution of that problem. So I think in that way,
Absolutely. Yes.
leaders are leaders. I think that's the connect here.
Absolutely
Hi, Payal.
correct. Absolutely
Shivam
correct.
here.
Correct. Yeah,
I
please,
want to
Shivam.
add on to it, Payal. So I feel a leader has one of the very influential qualities to lead by an example, and somebody who reads often or who has a habit of reading, who's an avid reader, is somebody who's up to date and he has a lot of information. So probably he is the best person who can guide you. So if you are a reader, probably you have one of the very important qualities of being a leader, I feel.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Okay. Yes, you all are right. And to the point that this is the connection between reading and a leader, thirsty for knowledge. A leader is basically thirsty for knowledge. Okay. So, for example, you uh, suppose you are into yoga, okay, and you challenge every day yourself that I have to get up and do yoga, right? And you as well read a lot about yoga on internet, on in books and stuff like that. So reading provides you knowledge, and being a leader of your own life in terms of doing yoga, you are as well thirsty for knowledge. In a simple way, in a layman's language, I'm giving this example. So, reading provides you knowledge, and the leader who wants to lead his or her life is always thirsty for knowledge, right? Reading gives you command over language, okay? Be it English, be it any other language, whatever language you read, you get, reading helps you command on that over that language, and that is what is one of the quality of leader has command on himself or herself, or whatever language or whatever communication skill they're using to communicate with people, or people and colleagues around them. So they have command over it. Okay. Focus and concentration. For reading, you need to focus and concentrate if you want to really read and learn. So this is another trait of a good leader in terms of leading people, organization, or your own life, that you are sharp and good in focus, and your concentration level is quite good, right? Reading helps you manage. Another thing is reading helps you manage your stress. Okay. A leader is a very good stress manager. He or she can manage stress, be it in your office, while in the team, or be it at home, while going on with your family things. So a leader should be a good stress manager, and reading again helps you in managing stress. Okay. Reading gives you different horizons of imagination. Okay. And a leader is and leader possesses this quality of sparkling imagination. A leader imagines the future and plans accordingly. And then the connect over here with reading is that reading gives you different horizons, as Shivam or I think someone else as well said that there's a hero, or there's a character, how a character becomes hero in a book, right? While dealing with a particular situation, the character ends up into some kind of resolution, which you as a reader connect that, okay, I'm also dealing with such kind of problem and I can overcome like this, right? So this is how, imagination helps. Okay. Inculcating self improvisation, right? So you actually start while while you're reading, you inculcate self improvisation, and this is one of the best traits of a leader who can inculcate self improvisation in every step, whatever step in during the course of plan you take. Okay, reading develops your emotional intelligence. It adds in your emotional intelligence, and a leader has good emotional intelligence. That is the reason why leaders are supposed to be balanced. Be doesn't matter you are leader in your office or leader in your group, in your college, your students community, or whatever, or in your own life. Okay, so this is how reading and a leader is connected. Reading is to mind what exercise is to body, right? So Joseph Edison has said this quote very well, that reading is to mind what exercise is to body. This is how, a leader has to exercise in the sense not bodybuilding, but yes, exercise in terms of whatever life role or professional role you're pursuing or following. You have to practice, and reading as well is a practice of your brains and your mind. It gives you different horizons and perspectives and solutions to deal with certain situations. Okay, so let's get into activity now. I've come to the activity session because this session is not only about talking. So here is a simple activity. It's a very childish. I'm not sure. Like, you might think after this activity that how kiddish this activity is, but let's do it. Let's start. No activities, small or big. Let's try to find out our fun element over here. Okay. Here is this passage. All of you have to read it. I'll give you 30. Yeah, I'll give you 30 seconds. You have to read this passage in 30 seconds.
Done.
Done? All of you done?
Yeah.
Great. Now that slide I've removed, time to recall the story. Ben saw a sad, who will give the answer?
Hen.
Ben saw a sad hen. Okay. The hen lost her.
Pen.
Okay, good. Who had the pen?
Fox.
Hen.
Anyone else would like to try?
I think
I'm
the
sorry?
fox had the fox.
Ben.
Ben, hen, fox. Anyone else would like to try? Okay, let's go back to the story again. Now read it carefully and find out who had the pen. Who had the pen?
Ben.
Fox had the
Read
pen.
it again.
Fox had the pen. The fox had the pen.
Anyone else would like to try?
Ben.
Hen had the pen.
The fox.
Who had the pen?
Had the pen.
Hen.
Fox had
The fox.
First the fox had the pen, then the Ben got it and gave it to hen.
No. It can be a non-living thing which animals could be referred, or the pen could be referred. So it can be. I think it is the fox, and actually the fox had the pen because he says, "I went to see the fox in his den." ना ऐसा लगता है.
It should be Ben.
Okay, this is a very confusing
Ben.
question.
Fox
I'm
है,
sorry?
fox है.
Fox है, पक्का?
No, it's Ben.
Yes.
Yes, fox had the
Fox.
pen.
Fox had the pen.
Okay.
Third last
In a
line.
way, all your answers are correct. In a way, all your answers are wrong. It could be she had lost her pen. So hen had lost her
Correct.
pen. Okay.
Exactly.
So it can be, the answer can be either hen would have the pen, or fox, she forgot the pen. But then Here's this line. I went to see the fox in his den. Ben went to the den. The fox had the pen. So might be fox had the pen, but since Ben picked up the pen from the fox, so
Even
we
Ben
can
had
say
the pen.
even Ben had the pen. So all three of them had the pen. Okay.
So ultimately, Ben has the pen.
But did she give it back? Ben got it. But finally, the pen went back to hen, right? Ben got it and gave it to the hen. At last, hen got her pen back from Ben. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
it could be multiple choice question.
Full choice question, whatever. So you can see how different perspective we have, and different answers we have. We all read the same passage, that small passage, same in 15, 30 seconds, whatever seconds. But then somebody had answered Ben, somebody had answered hen, somebody had answered fox. So we have different whatever, like this is how, and if I'll ask you to recreate the story, then again this will be a different form of stories from all of you differently, because your answers are different, your perspectives are different. The information, the story wanted to give only one information, that this is the situation that happened. But then what information we picked up from there, this is how reading helps to develop your own perspective, your own thought process, your own answers, okay, and reasons for those answers. All right, so read and find the word. There is a word here, you have to find out. You can tell me the location and then I'll read the word. You have to find the
Good.
spelling.
Good.
It can be
Good.
horizontal, it can be,
Ma'am,
I'm sorry.
third line. There is good there.
Okay, there's one more spelling. Here, G-O-O-D, good, you saw, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
There's one more spelling.
D-O-2.
Ma'am, last line there is good again.
Good again. Okay, good, we have found one.
There are two more.
You have to find another different spelling.
One is
Odd,
O
odd
and
man.
other one is do.
O double D.
There is one odd. O-double-D odd.
Odd. Go.
Okay, where is it? Yeah.
After that, go. Good.
There
Yeah,
is do.
O-double-D.
Odd. Yeah.
Okay,
There is
do,
do.
okay.
We have
Go,
go.
G-O, go.
Okay. Any more words?
Do.
Do.
Go and do.
Okay, let me give you a hint. It's a name of an animal as well. One
Dog.
animal's name is
Dog.
there. Yeah, where is it?
Ma'am, but we have not find it.
Try.
Dog.
Where is it?
Last line, ma'am.
It's Dodo.
Last line. Over here, you mean to say? Where is it? D-G-O, G-D-O, O-G, good. Again over here. I don't see a dog, but there is a dog.
It's Dodo.
Dodo. Name of the dog, you mean to say?
No, it's the name of a bird, I think.
Can it
Okay.
be in the L shape? Can you form the word in L shape?
Any shape.
So
It
DOG
can be
is there.
horizontal, it can be zigzag, it can be crisscross.
Yeah, so dog is there. You can find
Where?
like
Yeah,
first
dog
line,
is there.
last three,
Where?
last third letter, go down one letter and go right one letter. It's DOG.
1 second. But you mean to say
First
third line
line.
from the last?
First line, last third letter.
No. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Last third letter.
It's in fourth line at the last second last of the fourth line. D-O-G.
Where?
It's
DGO.
also the third line.
Third line over here. Okay. And where is
Third
this?
line in the middle, there is D, then fourth O, then fifth G. Yes, if you go diagonally
Payal, I got
downwards.
it. It's in the
Okay.
third line.
Absolutely. D-O-G.
Yeah, I'm
Here.
talking about the
Yes.
fourth.
Or even
Yes,
third
yes,
line,
yes.
you take the last
Here.
character and then you take the first character and the second character in the third line. It will form
Okay.
DOG.
Okay. Good. Okay, this is, this such kind of puzzles are a great way to strengthen your vocabulary of simple words. Not exactly, yeah. If you remember, during our childhood, we used to solve such kind of puzzles and all that. So it's a very good way to, get involved in such puzzles and solve and develop a good vocabulary. So yes, so now you can see whatever you want to look for, whatever kind of spelling you want to look for, you can read and make out. Okay. So reading is like watering our barren minds, and sometimes hearts are hard too. Okay. So you actually, while you read, either you read audiobooks or whether you read, what do you say, hardcover or paperback or even, Kindle or whatever, or you're into reading habit of newspaper, journals, magazines, short stories, poetries, even poetries. Poetry is a very good form of reading as well. Writing, it is, of course, because poetry is a very adventurous form of reading if you can understand, and connect with poetry. So a lot of love and romantic poems, or a lot of poem on heroes and people, patriotic people who have given their life for causes and stuff like that. So it's like, you feed your brain, and the best way, since we have a lot of mental unwellness around, and mental awareness is there. Reading actually helps in nurturing your mental wellness. So we actually water, when you're reading something, you're actually watering your brain, your mind, even your hearts. Okay, so you're putting in information, required information, or unrequired as well. Doesn't always. It's not important that because at times this is when we discover, right, that okay, you're not aware of something and you read about it and you get to know that okay, this is the thing, and etc. So this is how you can water your brain, water your mind, your heart, and reading is a very good tool. And we must get back into reading habit. We must not, like, as Uday shared the incident, we are a selfie mode generation, right? And even it's absolutely fine that you're not into book reading habit, but then you love to read blogs, right? You love to read articles, you love to read contents around, and that feeds your imagination power, that feeds your informative capability, which boosts your self-esteem when you are in front of four people, or even if you're not in front of four people, you are knowledgeable, and you have your own thought process, you have your own perspective. Like we did the exercise of that Ben Hen story, pen story, and everybody had different answers, everybody had different reasons for their answers, that aisa hoga, the fox had the pen, or whoever had the pen. So you had different reasons for your answers. No one was correct, no one was wrong, right? Everyone had different perspective, everyone had a different viewpoint. That was a very simple exercise. So this helps you, developing your creativity, your imagination power, developing your own perspective, your own viewpoint. Okay.
Payal, we have Praveen raising his hand, so maybe.
Yeah. Praveen,
Yeah.
what do you want to share with us?
Book is your best friend whenever you feel sad or something like that. Book is giving you any times when you read a book, you give emotions. You book gives you smiling in your face, some jokes, and in some like something like that.
Absolutely. Correct. Absolutely. Totally agree with you. And yes, book is your, I mean, as I said, I have my own, before becoming a writer, I am an avid reader. So I think whoever is into reading, lot of reading, they can write well. Yes, it is one thing that reading contributes strongly in is your writing skill. Skill of, I mean, writing, it contributes a lot. It makes you a very good writer. If you are a very good reader in the sense you love reading it, you love indulging in books, you actually are able to write good. So before becoming a writer, I was actually a very good reader since childhood. I think, yeah, since childhood I've been reading, and as you could make out that Ruskin Bond is my favorite author. I have been reading him since childhood, and this is the reason why I really love reading him. Why? Because he writes whatever he has lived in. He lives in Himalayas and he writes about short stories or whatever it is, fiction, non-fiction books on Himalayas itself, the flora and the fauna of Himalaya. He writes about that, about the people over there, Pahadi people. He writes about Pahadi people and all that. So that's what I really like about, whatever author I've read, uh, because I'm not too much into reading science fictions and all, because I'm not able to connect, right? So I'm not saying that you as well won't be able to connect, but that is my perspective, which I have developed through my reading habit, that I can connect with those things which are real, which the authors or the writers have lived in and recreated it. And that is the style I have adopted in my writing, that whatever I have lived in, I have recreated it. Plus, I also, it is said that whatever you haven't read yet, you must write about it. So I never came across any fiction or any story which has been published in global language like English, about my part of land, that is Mithilanchal, Darbhanga and all. So this is the reason why I don't think, but I'm quite sure that my book is the first book which is in English from that side, which comes up with the story of Mithilanchal from that side. Otherwise, there are a lot of Maithili books in the regional language, but there are no English books which depicts Maithili story. So I've lived that place. I have lived. I have seen. I've experienced that story which I have written, and this is the reason why I came up with that particular book. So yes, reading again adds you and gives you the confidence to write something that you are quite mused of, and which motivates you. Reading does pushes you to write. So Uday, I'll advise you, whatever genre, whatever type of books you want to write, you must first of all read such kind of book, and then create your own style of writing. Okay, so to reach the top, we stand on the books we have read, right? Of course, if we have to go on the top, I mean, to lead in the sense to lead amongst people, lead in the organization, lead in the college, lead in the class, lead our own life, lead our daily routine. To reach that particular level, we must get into reading for sure. Reading is a very good habit. Reading is a very, very what do you say, celebrated and very much respected habit as well. People actually look up to you when they come to know that you are a well-read person. You have a library of your own at home, and I mean, you possess a lot of book and you own a lot of books. So people look up to you with respect, but not for that particular reason itself. You must get into reading otherwise as well, because of the other more important benefits of it, that is mental wellness. If you want to become a very good writer, it really helps in writing. It gives your language your boost, because it helps you in vocabulary, developing your vocabulary, developing your writing style. So even if you're writing professionally, a professional email or a professional draft, or this platform is a training hub for giving boost in your communication skills, be it writing or be it talking. So if you're well read, you will definitely be confident while talking. Talking in the sense, you won't talk like Americans whose English, I'm not able to understand. But yes, correct. You are able to frame correct line, grammatically correct line, while writing or while talking. It actually empowers your communication skills in terms of writing, also in terms of talking as well. Okay, so with this, well, I'm winding up my session. Read and lead. Keep reading and start leading your life, leading your offices, leading your whatever. Okay, thank you so much, all of you. Can we have the question answer round now? I think next we have Q&A round, right, Shiva?
Yes, Payal. So, yeah, we will move into the question and answer round, Payal. So you can raise your hand. Everyone can raise your hand. We'll go one after the other, and I'll give you direct access to Payal, so you can unmute your mic and you can speak. But then you need to raise your hand fast. So Payal, maybe you can stop sharing your screen now, and I can
Yeah.
share mine. Yeah, and please raise hand. Amana, you have any question? I see you have raised your hand.
Yeah, I
Yes.
want to ask the question that in the in the whole discussion you were talking about reading. So I have a
Yeah.
question that if we want to speak
I'm sorry.
knowledge of learning, then
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
then is it do increase our knowledge or increase our like
Amna, your voice is breaking
if we
actually.
want to speak fluently,
Hmm.
we want to write in a proper way.
Hmm. Of course, it
Yeah.
adds. It adds a lot. As I said just now, I said while winding up that it actually empowers your communication skills in terms of talking as well. Okay, if you are well, I mean, if you read a lot, it gives you, as I said, it gives you a lot of vocabulary in you have your own vocabulary bank. You won't miss while talking. Like at times what happens that we forget some word, or while writing or while talking kuch bhul jate hain. We forget some word, we miss out some word. So if you're into regular reading habit, you actually your grasping power becomes very sharp, and you're able to maintain your own um, what do you say vocabulary bank. Plus you are able to frame sentences very effectively. Like you are able to pick up generous that if you observe, mm, there are certain trends of words which come in, like in between. LOL was quite famous. Lot of laughter. LOL, right? So while typing on WhatsApp, you used to write LOL, or texting someone, or so there. Dictionary is not limited. Words are not limited. Every time there is an innovation of, or formation of new words which comes into practice, which comes into trends. How will you know that? You will only know that by reading that which word is trending in language. Like swag. Where does this swag come from? Since my childhood, I have never heard this word swag, but this word is trending these days. What is swag? You will, while you're reading, you will see swag. Okay, where does this word come from? What is the meaning? You will check the meaning, and you will start using it in your communication skill, that is talking. While talking, squad is another word, right? Squad is a team, something, team of three people or something like that. So
Can you
this word, right? We are a good squad, we are a troublesome squad, or something like that. So I never heard this word during my childhood, but then this has come into trend these days. So how do you know it? You know it from various sources, and reading is one source which can contribute in updating you about new vocabulary, new words, new formation of sentences, and etc. Yes. Yeah, Shiva. How?
Yeah.
can you suggest some books that we can like if we are beginners?
Okay. Okay, so I
Yeah.
will suggest, yeah, I will suggest what books you can read. Ruskin Bond. His books, all his books are very simple to read and very good English. I mean, very simple
Uh,
to understand, very simple.
you please recommend.
Okay, what I'll do in the chat box, I will put the name of some books, so that you guys can, go through them. Is that okay, all of you?
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
recommend
I'll put it in the chat box. You can pick up from there. You can pick up from there those books. Okay, I'll do it at the end of the session. Yeah, Shivam was raising his hand.
Yeah,
Yes.
hi, Payal. So, as I said in the start itself, right, it was a really great session. It was good talking to you, and I wanted to just, understand your experience on how it was writing your first book and how did it help you. Because being a content creator, right, you're somewhat, you have a lot of ideas a lot of things going in your mind, but how did you put that into one book? And then after that, how was the response from that book? And like, what are you planning in future? I know I've put in a lot of questions,
So
but you can, yeah.
I've already shared that it took me around 5 years to write my book. I'm writing my another book right now, second book in fact. So as I said that I wrote I before when I started writing this book, I started writing it as a blog. It was not in my mind that I'll write a book. I'll publish a book basically. And I started writing blog. I started writing one story, every month, and I used to publish it on the social media platform. So I got very good response. People really liked it, and they used to wait for the next chapter of the book. That I would publish next month or something like that. So then a few of my friends and my family member as well, they suggested me that why don't you compile it in a book? So this is how I I figured out that, okay, let's publish it. And I also, as I said, that I also found out that there was no book in English which depicted the story. You must have read a lot of Bengali stories or Rajasthani stories, fictions as an English fiction, or Marathi stories as an English fiction. But I never came across, since the land that I belong to it is North Bihar, which is also called Mithilanchal, and it has a very rich history, culture, and all. And it is the land of Sita. That Mithilanchal is Maika of Sita. Ayodhya is her sasural, and her Maika is Mithilanchal. So there is where I thought, and it came in my mind that there is a need to, because people have very incorrect impression of Bihar altogether. So there are good things as well. So if you'll read my book, you'll come across a lot of good things about Bihar, which is in reality over there. So
I
yeah.
have a lot of friends and I know a lot of places in Bihar, so I know there's a lot of good things, and
Yes,
definitely
yes,
all the
yes,
places have goods and the bads. It's up to us on what do we,
yes,
put our minds on. But
exactly, exactly. So
that's
that's what.
nice.
So yeah,
So
so
how did you
that's what. So
manage
I
it along? Because I believe if you mentioned that you're a content creator, I believe were you
yeah,
freelancing
yeah.
or were you working?
I was working. I was working as an HR full time at that point of time. I was working with the. So my schedule was quite busy, but yes, Saturday, Sunday, I used to take out time to write, and mostly at night, I used to sit for writing. So this is the reason why it took quite a long time to complete the book. When I decided that, okay, I'll publish the book, after I think I released around 5 to 6 chapters on social media as a blog. Until that time, it was not in my mind that I'll convert it into book. But later on, when it came, I decided that I'll convert it into book, because writing a blog is much more easier than writing a book, right? So as blog, I was writing as a second and third person, but when I started writing the book, I had to write it in first person, right? So writing in person is, yeah, rather more difficult. So, but then a fiction is mostly, well read, or interestingly read when you write it in first. I mean, when it is in first person, when the character is telling the story himself or herself. So basically, Sondai is the name of book. Sondai is basically a name, Son is a name. Son means gold, and Dai in my part of land, Dai when you love and care for someone very much, and you when you pamper someone, you basically a female, when you pamper her so much and you love and care, or if she is an elder one, you call her Dai. Okay, so Sondai. Sondai is name of the character who is a widow basically, and it's the dowager bride. Now the dowager means loyal widow, royal widow, who has royalty in her actions, and basically in Japan, uh, the widow who were from royal family were called dowagers. Okay, so, but if you will see the dictionary meaning of dowager, dowager means somebody who is a widow but is royal at the same time in her actions. Very very bold and brave, and she has royalty in her this thing. So Sondai is a story of a widow woman who is based in a village, okay, in a small village of Mithilanchal. So then, I wanted to actually bring out the geographical perspective of my part of land and the culture and tradition. Like I mentioned here, Chhat Puja. I mentioned here art and craft of Mithilanchal, which is Madhubani painting, which is quite famous. So there is dedicated chapter on that particular art form in my book. And so, yes, so it is a story of only one person, that is Sondai, but then it also reflects many other, perspectives of that particular place from where place where the story took place. I mean, from where this hero of the novel is, and from where she belongs, basically. So there are a lot of things, other things. Like if you see the cover page of my book, there is a red line over here, right? With a bindi kind. SO looks like a bindi
Correct.
over here. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have this tradition. You must have seen in Chhat Puja ad or something, we
Correct.
put this vermilion sindoor from nose to the
Yeah,
middle
yeah.
part
Sort
of
of
our
tika,
shoulder.
extended version of tika.
Exactly, yeah, tika. So this is the sindoor, she bride. The story actually starts with she is actually she becomes a bride, and within 4 days she becomes widow. Her husband dies after the immediately after the wedding. Okay, after 4 days of marriage, so she becomes widow, and then being a widow is still in our society is a big taboo, be it village or be it cities.
Correct.
Yeah, so this is basically a social fiction which brings out one social issue of being a widow, how widows are looked up to in our society till date. Okay, so this is in brief. So this was in my mind when I started writing the blogs, and this is how. So it took a while because since I was working at that point of time, and then once I finished my book, I found an editor and publisher, and then it got published. And response I got really good in the first year. I mean, still, uh, it did not, of course, it did not become bestseller, but since it has a very good content, the content is very strong of this book. It got a very, very, very good response from the critics. There, if you will go on Amazon, you will see the review over there. You can go and check the review of the book. And I'm quite satisfied and happy. And the review of this book, because of this review of the book, I'm actually quite motivated to write my next book, which is in process, and hopefully by the end of this year, I'll complete it. Yes.
Perfect. So, Payal, are you still writing blogs?
No, I have in between I've stopped writing blogs, but yes, I have my own website, dailycurrency.com. Again, I'll share it in the chat box. You can go there. You'll find while traveling to Bihar, I have written about a lot of people, about the food over there, about my journey over there, about meeting people. So you can go there and you can read it. I'll share share the link over
Sure,
here.
sure.
You can
If you
go.
ever visit Delhi, I would love to sit and discuss a lot of things.
Delhi, I'm not in Delhi, I'm in Bangalore.
Exactly. That's why I said if you travel, or if I travel to Bangalore, maybe definitely.
Oh, sure. Oh, okay. Delhi, I keep on coming because my parents are there.
Then we should sometime catch up, probably after this pandemic is over.
Hope so. Yeah, sure. So this is my
I
website
think
over there and check the stories. You can read the stories over there.
Sure.
So yeah.
so. I think Shivani is raising hand. Shivani, you have anything to contribute or ask? Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, I asked. Ma'am,
Yes, Shivani.
ma'am, when did you write your first book and how old were you?
I'm sorry. When did I write my first book, and what is the next question?
How old are you that time?
I'm
What's
not
your
able to
experience?
experience. Okay, great. My
Yeah.
book got published in 2019, in June 2019 got published. It's been it's been approximately 2021, yeah, so 1.5 year it's been now. And my experience was quite overwhelming because writing your book, your own book, I mean, is very emotional journey. There's a lot of ups and downs, because it's not that you write in one go. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to write. Because I remember I wrote two drafts of my book. I tore them and again I had rewritten. So third one I was satisfied that this is when I had sent it to my editor to edit it. So it was quite a tough journey, not an easy one. Writing a book is not that easy that people think.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but then it's a very meaningful journey. It's like it's just like I am, you know, getting pregnant and delivering your baby. That's what I can connect. I'm a mother already.
Oh,
So
oh,
yeah, so I connect I can connect the journey with becoming a mother itself. So
yeah.
there are a lot of ups and downs, a lot of hardships, but then that this is your thing, which is coming out of you, right? Quite emotional. It's quite
Yeah.
close to your heart. So basically, what happens. Writers, they write book not for actually didn't write books for other people to read, but then I had never come across what I have written, so this is the reason why I wrote this book. And it's quite emotional. Still, I've read my book hundred of times, and every time when I read, I feel like I'm reading it for the first time. Of course, if you will read my book, you will feel like, okay, एक बार
Yeah,
पढ़
of
लिया
course, ma'am, I read.
but,
Of course, I
but
read.
yeah, you
It's
when
very
you if you
life.
read it second time, you will say that, okay, I've already read it. But as an author, if you ask me, I have read and reread my book, and every time I feel that I could have written it better. ये भी मैं feel करती हूँ. I feel this is better. I could have
You
written
feel
it much
inspired.
better. Yeah, and I feel like I'm reading it for the first time, and I still am amazed at how come I can this is kind of creating a masterpiece of your own, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a
And
very
one more question, ma'am.
yes, please.
And ma'am, one more question. Your favorite parts
I'm sorry.
in your any favorite part in a book, like
My
any
favorite
favorite?
part in the book.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. My favorite
How
part.
many you read,
It's
read and right now?
there are 21 chapters, and it's difficult to say which one is my favorite part. Yeah, but my favorite part is from I think from chapter 10 to from chapter 10 to chapter 15, when this little woman, this widow, is actually taking up the charge of her life unexpectedly, because she's a widow, of course, but she's not educated as well. She's illiterate. Okay. And she starts taking up the charge of her own life, and the entire family becomes dependent on her eventually, and she becomes the man of her family, who is earning and running the family. So that part is my favorite one, because what that depicts is we as it's not about being feminist or something like that, but we people in cities, we have we at times get depressed and
Yeah,
give up. We have so much of problem in life. But then being a widow plus an illiterate, and that too in village, if she can take up her life such a positive manner, and lead her life likewise, so why not we city dwellers, right? Be it a boy or a girl, doesn't matter. Even a man can derive a lot of motivation from this book. So that is my favorite part. Yeah,
Thank you, ma'am.
you're welcome, Shivani. Okay, Nitish is raising hand. Yeah. Wait, let me unmute. Yeah, Nitish, please tell me.
Hello, hi,
Yeah,
Parul,
hello, Nitish.
congratulations for your book. And
Thank you so
the
much.
way you
Thank
are
you.
describing it's like I'm really intrigued in reading it soon.
Okay.
So I just have a question. I like to write poetry, and it's been a thought for some time, like, I want to have a collection and maybe publish it after few years. But the thing is, like, the kind of content I used to write few years back, and if I compare it to now, like, I have improved from that somewhere. And it's like bit confusing, like, when do you decide, like, this content is good, or I can further improve from it.
Okay. Nitish, see, there is no particular time when you can decide. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to decide actually that this is my best that I could give. This is one of the best content. Now I won't get better than this, and we should publish it. So I will suggest you not to wait. Whatever you have created, as I said, now when I read my book, I think at times I just get disappointed, and I think that okay, I could have written much better than this what I've written. So this will come up every time whenever you will reread your work, right? So every time, and then I'm sure after Sondai, the book that I'm writing will be much more better in terms of language, in terms of dividing in chapters or whatever, in terms of plotting and stuff like that. It might be it can be more better than what I've written, but it's very important to start the journey, right? So Sondai is something which has she has actually started my journey as a writer, as an author, right? So it's very important, and it's like growth of a child, right? So baby is born, फिर वो बड़ा होता है, फिर वो बड़ा होता है, better होता है, better होता है, baby learns, then schooling, everything happens. So likewise, your first poetry book, your first anthology will be your baby, and after that, when you will write and rewrite and publish more poetry books and anthologies, will be much better than what you've written at the first time. But yes, don't take too much of time, because too much of time, I took 5 years, so I'll not advise you to take 5 years. People write books in 10 days and publish it. Okay, so don't take that much of time, and whatever you have written, think this is the best. As for this time, this is the best thing that I've given, and I've written and given my part into it and published. Go ahead and publish it. And with time, since you're a writer yourself, you're a poet yourself, your poetry is going to get better. So every time you look back, you will think that, okay, I should have written better and this is much more better. So there will be comparison every time. But then since you'll keep on writing time and again, so your writing will get better. What I used to write in 2019 when I published this book, I'm much better writer than that, right? This is the reason why I got a full-time opportunity as content writer. At that time, I didn't had any opportunity in hand. I was only a simple author, published author, that's it. But then, because of my published book, because of my better betterment writing, I fetched a job and full-time job as a content creator, and then also I'm writing my next book. So what my suggestion is, don't waste too much of time. It will confuse you and it will baffle you more. Okay, so go ahead and publish your anthology as soon as possible and share with us. I'll definitely buy it. All the best.
Okay,
All the best. Yeah.
Thank you for your answer. Thank you.
I have also sent the link of book written by Payal in the chat. So if any one of you wish to buy, then you can just take it from Amazon. The link is there in the chat section.
Great. Okay.
Anything else? Anything you want to discuss with Payal?
No, that's it from my side. Any more questions? I think that's it.
Amit, do you have any question? Praveen? Vinod, do you have any questions for Payal?
Yes, sir. I have one question.
Yeah. Praveen, please tell. Please go ahead.
Yeah. When you start your blogging, how do you feel now you are a author in your coming this book? What is the difference of when you write a blog and now you are write a book?
Okay. So I would say blogs. I mean, we are lucky that we have such platforms right now. We have WordPress, we have Blogspot, wherein you can create your own blog page and you can start writing. So, blog is basically if you want to get into full-time writing, I think blogging is one tool, very good tool to start with. Okay, so wherein you can start your writing practices. So this is where I started actually writing. It's a very good platform. So this is what actually paved way towards my book. As I said, first 5 or 6 chapters which I published in my blog, I had no idea, I had no dream, no nothing that I will publish a book and become an author. Nothing like that I had. But since my followers increased and people started reading it, and they really liked the plot of my story, and people started appreciating it, and people came up with the idea, why don't you compile these stories and actually publish a book? So this is the time when I actually decided that I will write a book and I publish, because writing a book and publishing it is not that easy. It's a very long, very tedious, and very challenging journey, right? to
That's why I'm asking.
yeah, it's a very risky. But then writing a blog, getting into regular writing, gives you that motivation that of becoming a full-time writer or a full-time author or something like that. Okay. So that's what. So this is how I made up my mind from. But yes, if you want to become a writer or a poet or whatever, I think you should start from blog, since we are this time, I mean, fortunate enough to have such kind of platforms where we can practice our writing. Otherwise, in olden days, people only used to write in diary, and I'm sure there are many authors and writers who are जो डायरी में ही बंद होके रह गए हैं. So we are lucky enough. So yeah, you should use best. That's what social media should not control you. You must control social media for your own benefits. So blogging is one of the best tools for starting your writing exercise. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. I am also written a diary, not a book.
Good.
I did.
Yeah, diary writing is a very old school thought, but yes, that's good, and you should. If you're writing a diary, I think you should also maintain a blog. You have these free blog pages like WordPress and Blogspot. So you can go and open your account and start writing over there. Anyone else? Yeah, thank you, Praveen. Thank you.
We are coming to the end of the answer session. We can take one final question if anyone has.
I think Nitesh, right?
Yeah, Nitesh, you have anything to contribute? You have your hands up.
Sorry, like I did by mistake, but I just wanted to say, like, that's what I'm trying to do, what you suggested. Like, I've started a blog and I'm trying to post my poetries there to get feedbacks, and that's when the thought came from people's suggestion, like you should turn it into a book.
Okay.
So just wanted
Nitesh,
to
what
share.
you should do is are you on Instagram as well?
Yes, I am.
So you
But I
start
don't.
post your poetries over there. That's a good platform for poetry. Maybe you
No,
can create a new
actually,
page.
I don't promote it for now. I just, share it with people who are into it, basically. Like on
Okay.
personal level, I share the links, but I don't promote it now on social media. It's just a part of
Okay.
my hobby for now.
Okay.
But I'll
Okay.
try to. I'm
Yeah,
listening to your
just try
advice.
it,
Yeah.
because on Instagram there are various pages which give you
Okay.
prompts, weekly prompts and monthly prompts to write poetry. So that's a
Mhm.
kind of workshop, social media
Yeah.
workshop for writing poetry. So that's quite good. Even I tried in between when I was quite stuck writing. I got stuck. I mean, this is also a phase when you're writing a book. At times you get stuck, like you just don't feel like writing. अब दिमाग में आ नहीं रहा, what should I write next? So I did this this poetry prompt thing on Instagram. I wrote few poetries. If you go on my page on Instagram, you will find poetries over there. Yeah, so I
Sure.
wrote poetries just to because what happens, writing is as well a very lonely job and monotonous is also, especially when you're writing a book, it becomes at times very lonely and very
Mhm.
monotonous. So just to divert myself and rejuvenate and refresh myself, I wrote poetry for I think a month or so, and then I came back to writing my book just to change
Can
my
you
other way of
can you
writing.
share your Instagram link as well?
Yeah,
Like
I'll
maybe
share it over
mm,
here in the chat box. Okay. My Instagram
we'll
page
follow it.
name is Meri Kalam se.
Okay.
Over there. That's my page, Instagram. You can, sorry, list M. Okay. So you can follow me over there. I've written in between, like for a month, I used to write poetry just to, refresh myself. That's it. Yeah. Any more questions? I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yes, I think we have everything. So that was the last question we could take, and we should also end on time for the next session. So thank you very much, Payal. This was indeed great session, and your webinar was the first webinar that we are conducting on behalf of Free Spoken English Club. So thank you very much for joining.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, I'll put the list of few books you all wanted that you must read as a beginner. I'm putting it over here. And
okay, sure.
You may continue with your last session.
Yes, sure.
Breakout session, yeah, you can continue.
So the final session, guys, is the breakout session where we will have 4 to 5 participants in each room, and we'll try to have more because sometime when 1 or 2% leave, then there's only 2 people in the group. So we'll try to accommodate as many to have a healthy conversation. So in this breakout session, this is for you to practice your spoken English, because when you speak with your friends, they discourage you, you discourage them. But here, everyone has come for learning. So no one will judge you if you are corrected, or if you correct someone, make sure it's polite and it's not discouraging. Also, the topics for or against cannot be on religion and politics of any sort. So that is strictly against our policy. And also the topics you discuss should be friendly enough, and the other members should not feel offended or should not, it should not look unhealthy to them. So since we all are professionals, I understand this is very well understood from your side. So we'll create the rooms now. So Payal, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So Payal, we will not have you in the in the rooms for a reason,
Okay,
because
okay.
you are
No
you are
problem.
yeah, because you are the
Okay,
guest.
what I'll do, Shivam, I'll share the list of few books for the beginners, and you may share with them later on.
Okay,
Is that
because
okay?
because if you are in one room, the people in other room may feel biased that why I'm not getting to speak with Payal, right?
Okay, no problem, no problem.
Okay.
I'll just leave the meeting.
Yes. So Payal, if you could you share the list, or do you want to share with me and you want me to share?
I'll share it with you. I'll share it with you, and you can share it with them. Okay.
Okay. So Payal, thank you is not enough at all. So kindly accept thank you from all of us.
Thank you for this opportunity. It was wonderful, and I'm glad that this was a quite interactive session. And you guys, I also learned a few things from you, your experiences, and the selfie thing, the selfie story, especially from Uday. So yeah, so it was a mutual thing and quite interactive one. And I hope, and that was my intention, to not make this session sleeping, that I'm talking and you're sleeping on the other side. So that's what, and this is the reason why I kept 2 activities at the end. So yeah, okay. Thank you so much, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Payal. Thanks. Bye. Yes. So I'll just be creating. Yeah.
My father is a bit ill, so like I have to
no problem.
COVID का vaccine लिया है, तो I have to take care of the wholesale cold actually.
No worries.
He's
no worries.
having
So
a high fever, so that's
yes. So this networking is not mandatory. those of you who wants to okay, those of you who wants to stay can stay. Otherwise, you can choose to exit. However, it is nice if you can have a speaking platform. Just give me a minute. I'll sign. Okay.